Hello, Sports Recap fam. I'm going to be here talking about the NBA playoffs. It's been very good television, also the NHL playoffs, but I'm going to stick to basketball since I know a little bit more about it. I know it's the more popular sport, and yeah, people have more loyalty to basketball around here than hockey. So first I'm going to talk about the Western Conference. The big Western Conference game tonight is Los Angeles at Memphis. Los Angeles does have a 3-1 lead on Memphis. The thing about this series is that I think all four games to this point have been really good games. They've been closed down the stretch. Um, Memphis probably was the better team coming into this series, but Clippers have been the better team by far in this series. Like Grizzlies had a 27-point lead at home at some point in that third quarter. 21-point lead going into the fourth quarter, and yet they coughed up that 21-point lead, lost by one late. I mean, in game one. Game two, they showed some pride. They won game two pretty well. I mean, the game was still close and kind of back and forth, but Memphis had that game. Games three and four, both were close. I think game four had overtimes in them. I think probably one overtime. But they're they're both close back and forth, and then Chris Paul took it over and won the game, bailed the Clippers out, and now we're sitting here with Clippers having a 3-1 lead. Um, I totally expect the Clippers, well, not the Clippers, the Grizzlies to win tonight and force Game 6 in Los Angeles. Um, they have the home court. Their home court is phenomenal in Memphis. And after game one, I don't expect them to lose any more playoff games there in this series at least. Um, the thing about this series, to me, this series is a dark horse series because I'm well aware of who everybody's well aware of who the winner of this series will be playing. They will be playing the Spurs, who, in my opinion, are on a whole nother level. I think they're going to be the winner of this series like a drum. Now Memphis is already. When I think Memphis, I already think about last year when the Spurs got upset. And I'm like, there's no way that's happening again. And the Spurs match up favorably with both. The Spurs can shoot both of them out of a gym. So you watch out on that. Yeah, take the Grizzlies tonight. I'll say Clippers in six for the series. Um, Other series still going on in the West is Lakers Nuggets. Now, why is this series still going? We don't know. But anyway, games one and two are like so far apart. Like I feel like 4 minutes in game one, you already knew who's gonna win the series, and you didn't think it was gonna be close. One and two, Lakers like dominated. Denver showed some fight in game two. What we didn't know is that it was show in game three because apparently Denver found something. X Factor is definitely in the post for this series. Like LA has Kobe, but if Bynum's not taking shots and making shots, then Denver has a chance. And Denver found something in JaVale McGee. He's not starting for them, I don't at the moment, but he has gone in there and he's pretty much negated Andrew Bynum. He has outplayed Andrew Bynum in 2 out of the last 3 games, if not the last 3 games. Um, he's been all over the place. It's funny how this guy who was regarded as clumsy because he can't. His awareness is not the best. All of a sudden, plays like he's been around in the playoffs a bunch of times. It's been kind of amazing. I'm personally watching the series just because of him, and I've been amazed to see him play so well. Him and Fareed, who's very underrated. You got Tyler Lawson. That team, nobody expected anything out of Denver, and for them to show some fight, I'm very happy in them. Now, game three, I think Denver won, and it wasn't really close. The game was like 41-19 run. Now, that started the game. And LA made a little pushback, but Denver closed the game out. Okay, so now we're at game four. I think LA got a better start than they did in game three, but Denver kind of has the lead, and then LA closes in on the lead. And instead of taking shots like we usually expect Kobe to do, Kobe passes the ball out to like Sessions and Blake, and they both make these threes to clinch Game 4. Now nobody expected them to make them threes. That's how Denver's defending the Lakers. Like they're like you make your threes. We're gonna dare you to shoot the three. You're not making anything in the post, and that's what LA did in Game 4. Game 5 was all about JaVale McGee. Ty Lawson was in there ripping the defense apart. Andre Miller was opposing guards up and doing his thing. The Lakers were just completely outplayed that entire game. Um, they couldn't buy a shot in the second half, and all of a sudden in the fourth quarter, Kobe was being Kobe, because we all know how Kobe is. When it comes to fourth quarter, Kobe, the dude's clutch. But we also have Blake heaving up these shots, these prayers, and they all of a sudden go in, and all of a sudden, 15-point lead, I think it's 15-point lead, all of a sudden turns to like a 1-point lead, and Denver has to like make free throws to close the game out. They had to survive 2 late 3-point attempts by the Lakers to win the game. But don't be confused. That was Denver's game. That game had no business being closed. I think Denver found something here. Expect Denver to win Game 6. I think they found the formula. Their home court will be rocking. Um, they will definitely be sending the series back to LA for Game 7. Um, Other series, OKC closed Dallas out in 4, which is very interesting because based on the first 2 games, you thought this series would have easily gone 6, but apparently not. The Dallas had like decent leads late in both those games. They had chances to win, but OKC shut them down when they needed to. They made the plays necessary to get out of those games, get a 2-0 lead going in the Thunder's favor instead of in the Mavericks' favor. Game 3, the Thunder finally showed the world what they're made of, and they blew Dallas out on their home court. Game 3. Game 4, Dallas finally took care of their home court advantage. Well, it looked like they were going to take care of their home court advantage. They had like a 13-point lead, I think, going into 4th, something like that. It was very late, and OKC rallied all the way back, made plays down the stretch once again to close the series out in 4. OKC, don't be messing with OKC. Like, the Lakers definitely beat OKC late in the regular season, with the reserves no less. But I would be concerned if I was the Lakers. And at OKC, I would be concerned too. They got beat. Y'all got beat with reserves the last time y'all played. And the Lakers aren't scared of no home court. Speaking of, OKC seems to play better on the road than they do at home, even though their home court is easily the best. Easily the best in the NBA right now. I don't understand that, but we'll see. Also, Spurs Utah was not a compelling series. Foregone conclusion. First game was very comfortable. Spurs lead all throughout. Second game was Utah gave Spurs a fight right until near halftime, and then the Spurs had like this run where they outscored Utah by 20, and that game was over. They beat them by like 31. Game 3, Utah, I don't think, showed any fight. No, they showed a fight in the first half, and then Matt Bonner hit a 3 at half for the Spurs to go by 2, and Utah showed no fight in the second half. And then Game 4, Utah to me didn't show any fight at all until the very last minute where it was too late. Where Spurs had their reserves in, and Utah was able to turn a 21-point lead to like a 4-point lead. It was just a little too late. That's what happened. So that series was not compelling. The Spurs were just on a whole nother level. They are on a mission. It's kind of weird because nobody's talking about them. Everybody's talking about OKC and Miami from the East, but Spurs, they need to watch out for the Spurs. That's all I have coming from the West. I think that either the Spurs or the Thunder come out of the West. That would be an interesting series. That's all I have for the West.